Oh, good morning, guys. It's November 10th, 2011, or 2017, sorry. I came across this article this morning. It is posted from November 8th. There's a lot of speculation on whether or not North Korea is even dumb enough to attack the United States or any of its allies to start any major civil war or World War III. So I do apologize about the sniffling or the coughing, a little bit of a cold. There's a major, I'm not really going to say major, but there's a far-reached cold going around, Canada, United States, UK, all over the place. But back to the matter at hand. So the title of it is Shock North Korea Warning, Kim Jong-un is close to U.S. nuclear strike amid World War III fears. And like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, this is going to be a topic for a very long time until there is either denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula or they come to a peaceful agreement, which I don't think is really going to happen, to be completely honest. But so let's go ahead and read the article. It says North Korea continued development of its nuclear weapons arsenal despite international condemnation after several intercontinental missile tests sparked fears of World War III. Now we all know how many tests they were doing back earlier this year, July, August, even in September. U.S. President Donald Trump has used his tour of Asia to warn North Korea over its nuclear weapons program and even offer the prospect of talks to Kim Jong-un. Now, they can try to talk to him, but personally, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to get very far with this guy. This guy is a delusional child, so to speak. He's following in his father's and his grandfather's footsteps, which were not too good to begin with. Kim Jong-un is said to be nearing the completion of nuclear weapons capable of devastating the United States, according to a warning from an international politics expert. Now, I want to touch base on that alone. Now, there's a lot of claims going around, and according to the Telegraph, the UK Telegraph, back in July, North Korea has successfully tested and launched a missile that flew approximately 6,210 miles. North Korea is claiming that they have a missile to go as far as 7,400 miles, although there has been no confirmation of that through anybody, the United States, Russia, or China. Now, apparently they tested this missile back in 2016. I'm going to say this wrong probably, but the Hwasong 13 ICBM. It is also capable of carrying a miniaturized nuclear warhead on it. Now, let's just think about this for a second. The distance, now I'm in Canada, so I'm going to use Toronto as a prime area just to get some numbers and area circumferences down. The distance from China, like China to Toronto, is approximately 10,615 kilometers, which would equal out to be about 6,596 miles, or 5,732 nautical miles. Now, the distance from Toronto to Japan is 10,373 kilometers, or 6,445 miles, or 5,601 nautical miles. Now, off the top of my head, I'm not exactly sure how far North Korea is, but I know that they are in the middle of China and Japan. So North Korea is somewhere in the range of 6,596 miles to 6,445 miles. They are somewhere in between there. Now, as I mentioned, Toronto is roughly 65 miles, or 6,500 miles away, roughly. That's off the top of my head. But needless to say, North Korea has the capability right now where it has been confirmed that they could hit anywhere in a 6,596 mile radius. So that would be pretty close to Toronto on the Canadian side. If you use the math version of making the circle or whatever, I'm not really sure what the technical term is. Anywhere in that circular circumference is where North Korea could hit right now if they wanted to. And that's not speculation, that is math, and I'm going by what the general public and the government has stated so far to the general public. Now, this international politics expert, I'm going to go ahead and believe him just from my point of view or my understandings of everything. They do have the capability to hit the United States continent or the North American continent, which also includes Canada. Most people don't refer to Canada as North America, but Canada is a North American continent. If you break it down, Canada is North America, and the United States would be South America on the North American continent. Now, furthermore, Virginie, I'm going to say this wrong, Gizlak, I think, author of North Korea's New Diplomacy Challenges Political Isolation in the 21st Century, told Express.co.uk, warned it doesn't matter if the rogue state is in possession of a big or small bomb. The International Politics lecturer said, they are probably quite close to actually having what they need for a nuclear weapon to be used. Now, like I just previously mentioned, they already have the capability to miniaturize a nuclear missile, or warhead, and put it on a ICBM, or a long-range missile. Either way, it's not good for anybody. There is an idea that you can have surgical nuclear weapons, but at the moment, it doesn't matter if they have a huge one or a small one because of the radiation spreads. They're talking about dropping an H-bomb in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and even if they did that, that would not only have drastic outcome on marine life, but the radiation spreads or fallouts would be horrific. Another international expert has warned Donald Trump may have to invade if he wants to stop North Korea's nuclear program. To be honest, I don't think the United States will be able to invade unless they have China and Russia on their side. There's no way in hell the United States is going to be able to invade, take over, and claim land right in between two of the major world superpowers. Russia will not allow it, and China. I don't know, they're pretty good with their deals, but I still don't think that they would allow to have United States as a bordering country. Another David Tafuri, an international lawyer, suggests an aerial campaign against North Korea may not be sufficient to end its nuclear threat. No, probably not, because I guarantee North Korea will shoot down any planes that are flying in their airspace. I'm not sure what article I was reading the other day, but I came across an article that was going on about the no-fly zones over the Korean Peninsula. There was actually fears of some, I think it was a United States Army being shot down or something. Maybe it was, yeah, I'm going to leave it as that. I'm pretty sure it had to do with the States and how they're flying around, showing their show of force to the regime of North Korea. Mr. Toffoli told Fox News, the conundrum with North Korea is our normal ways for solving a problem with a foreign country, like diplomacy and sanctions, have not worked thus far. I do agree with that. I do agree that China needs to step up they need to stick to the sanctions that are put in place. The sanctions are there for a reason. It's not just for the safety of the Korean people, but it's also for the safety of the people of the world. We do not want a regime or a country such as North Korea to have devastating power. And I say devastating because the power that they are trying to possess is deadly on a global scale. That's why we have to keep talking about military options. Now, the Joint Chiefs, just a couple of days ago, were talking about military options. I think the only two options would be to either A, invade, or B, bomb. They're not going to be able to come to a peaceful resolution. They've been doing it for the last 25 years, or even longer, ever since the stalemate of the Korean War back in 1952, I believe. Which, by the way, is still going on. They could carry it on at any moment without any repercussions or repercussions or whatever from any government source, because technically the Korean War isn't over. You can't restart something that hasn't finished. And they reminded people that even if we used a full-on air campaign, which probably won't fly, we probably can't get all of North Korea's nuclear weapons. No, they've been conducting their nuclear tests underground. Their testing facility caved in about a month ago. That killed roughly 200 of their nuclear power plant employees. So I'm guessing that they're either going to have to start testing above ground, which is not good for anybody near the Korean Peninsula, i.e. China, Russia, Japan, or even Seoul, South Korea. It's not good for them. Every time they launch a ICBM missile test, or any kind of missile test for that matter, there's always earthquakes, landslides, stuff like that. The air quality probably does go down. I would think so anyways. That means we will have to invade in the simplest terms. Oh, look at that. See, so I've been saying this for the last few weeks now. The only way that they're going to be able to do it is either A, bomb North Korea, or invade. I honestly don't think they're going to invade, even though Trump is talking about it now. It's probably just more of his rhetoric. These two guys seem to just, talk and talk and talk a lot. Trump is taking a little further action on certain approaches, but we have yet to see any major action or any major resolution to this global problem. In the simplest terms, that means there will be a lot of collateral damage for us and also allies like South Korea and Japan. So right there, they're trying to let us prepare ourselves. They're giving us that little nudge into the door to say, we probably will be going to war very soon. They thought that North Korea wasn't going to have the capabilities to actually hit the United States continent within the next few years. Well, according to certain scientists now, that they'll have that capability to reach the east coast of the United States in less than a year. So by the end of 2018, they'll have the capability to bomb, whether nuclear or not, all the way across the United States, west coast, south coast, east coast. Despot leader Kim Jong-un used state media to urge the removal of Donald Trump after he made stern threats during a visit to South Korea. Now, I have to laugh at that because I honestly don't understand what runs through Kim's little fat brain. How does he think that he can control what happens in another country's electoral process? And now, let's not forget about the alleged Russian hacking of the American election in 2016. There has been some proof, but nothing sustainable enough to actually implement Donald Trump being involved. But anyways, North Korea can't even run their own country, let alone how to dictate what the rest of the world should do. The U.S. president said people in North Korea are suffering human rights abuses in gulags, or gulags, I think that is, and some bribed government officials to work as overseas slaves. Now, I'm not going to say that's false, because I do believe, or I do think, that there are people, not just in North Korea, but, you know, China, Japan, any of the neighboring countries to North Korea, they probably all have certain expectations of their government that they are not following through on. That being said, whether it's minimum wages or jobs, schooling, education, healthcare, anything like that, people are going to leave their country. So whether it's to find work as slaves or for other financial reasons, nobody really knows. But for Donald to come out and say that the North Korean people are suffering human rights, I'm going to go ahead and say that's true, because of the way Kim treats not just his regime, but the people of his own country. In response, North Korea's state media agency, NC, or the KCNA, said, "The world is undergoing unprecedented thaws because of Trump, a notorious political heretic." I'm going to go ahead and say that's both on both sides of the party. Donald Trump and Kim both don't know when to shut up. The U.S. must oust the lunatic old man from power and withdraw the hostile policy towards the DPRK at once in order to get rid of the abyss of doom. Now, no matter how much North Korea wants to threaten the world population with the so-called abyss of doom, I don't think it's ever going to happen, at least not to anybody but their own people, or the neighboring countries. South Korea might want to step up their military patrol or protection, because North Korea seems to be getting out of hand. And from that, I'm going to leave the end of this video. If I did get a few things wrong, please let me know. I'm learning just as much as I'm giving out. I've been doing the research on the world politics and, well, pretty much world news for any reason, whether it be Nubaru, the politics, the disappearances in the States, and, well, frankly, all over. The plagues in Madagascar, the death tolls in Madagascar, as well as the two, missing people in the States. The fires, the floodings, the natural disasters, or the weather phenomenons, like, it's pretty much going to be all covered here. But like I said, I'm still learning as I go. We all need to start teaching ourselves and, help out others at the same time. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for the benefit of myself, because I can just sit here and read this to myself and, let my personal friends and family know what's going on. The reason why I decided to put this all out there is because I've noticed that most people aren't covering certain political importance of what's going on in North Korea, or even in the Middle East, for instance. That's going to be a different video. There's something definitely going on in the Middle East that not just the mainstream media, but most people are not even bringing to light. All the princes, mysteriously dying in helicopter crashes, and the prime minister stepping down in Saudi Arabia, and there's just a lot going on in the Middle East, so that'll be a separate video. So, thank you for tuning in this time. Please like and give the video a thumbs up if you found this to be informational of any sort. And if you want to, help me out, give me some further information, please leave a comment down below. Not just, giving me information, but what you think or what your insight is on this particular topic. And share. I could really care about the subscribers. Like, I'm not into this for the subscriptions, although subscriptions is a bonus. It'll help me to get better technology to make better videos, to be able to get it visible out there for you. But yeah, definitely share, because I'm all about getting it into people. Well, let me better rephrase that. I would like to help people open their eyes and their minds to all the possibilities to which everything that is going on in this world. Not just what the political side is saying, but what is actually happening. So that's why I ask that if you are actually going through this yourself and you are watching this video, please leave a comment down below describing exactly what it is that you are going through. Letting the people know what the mainstream media is not covering in your country or in your city, town, about this particular problem. Yeah, so stay safe, be aware, and until next time, take care.